Hello and welcome to Behold and Resold. My name is Courtney, and today's video is going to be a little different. I'm going to pull some orders and give you some general updates, and then there's one specific thing, something that happened on eBay that has me really fired up, and I want to talk about it. So let's go ahead and roll the intro, and let's get into it. Okay, well, if you're new here, welcome. I'm a reseller, so I find things at garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, thrift stores, liquidation places, storage units, all kinds of places that I can find an item for cheap compared to its value, and then I go ahead and flip it and resell it for a profit. Typical videos that you'll see on my channel are yard sale videos where I take you along with me as I find items at the yard sales. You'll also see unboxings of liquidation boxes and pallets that I share on my channel. So I haven't done much of this type of video, and actually at all. I did do a couple of what sold videos months and months ago, a lot different format. But I thought I would try this this style and see how it worked. So I'm glad you're here with me. So today, before we get into the main topic, you're going to help me pull some orders. So let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, so I just quickly want to show you that the orders to pull for today, we have 8 for a total of $510.47. So that's pretty good right there. Alright, so for the first order, it's a Snap Power Motion Light Motion Detecting LED Night Light Outlet Cover. So let's see, it's in B3. Just right here. There it is right there. So I believe I got this in a mystery box. Yeah, I got this in a mystery box. And so the average cost per item of that mystery box ended up being $10.26, and this item sold for $24.99 plus shipping. So let's go ahead and set that on our shipping table. All right, next up we have Spike the Ultra Dinosaur Remote Only. So I picked this up at a yard sale. It was actually, I picked up the whole thing. I'll put a picture on the screen, the entire thing, but it's this huge dinosaur made by Imaginext, and it's really cool. When I picked the whole thing up, so it was this huge dinosaur with a remote. I forget if there's anything else, but that I bought for $6, and I ended up parting it out. The sign on it said that it needed a battery. Well, it actually has a rechargeable battery in it, but I don't know if it's any good. I don't have the charger since that was missing. So I ended up parting it out to sell the remote separate, probably the battery separate. The dinosaur, that thing is too huge and not enough value to sell and ship that. So, but the remote did sell in that. Let me look here. Does not have a SKU. So every now and then this happens and it drives me crazy. I don't know if, I'm sure there's sometimes I forget to put the SKU in, but I feel that there's sometimes that eBay just does not save it. So let's do a quick look. It's going to be in one of the, I have inventory all over this house basically, but I'm just going to take a quick look because it was fairly recent, within the last couple of months, that I got this at a yard sale, and so I feel like it should be fairly close to the front and not buried, hopefully, unless it was put like in a little hole that, to make it fit somewhere. And I've been selling quite a bit, so there's a lot of empty spaces in these bins. I'm not seeing it, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down for a minute so I can look a little bit closer, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, that took me probably a good like 10, maybe even 15 minutes to find. I looked through all of these bins at least once, some of them multiple times, because I was not finding it. So let me show you where I did find it. So it was in B5, and it was hiding behind all of this and right here. So there we have it, the remote for that dinosaur. So like I said, I picked up that I picked up that dinosaur remote for $6 total, and so I sold that remote for $34.99. So that's pretty good. All right, the next item is down in my office. It is a vintage Cabbage Patch Twins set that is pretty much new in the box. I bought this through a local online auction place that I just found out about recently, and I've been having a blast. They have typically 1 to 2 auctions a week, and you go on their site and you bid on it, and then you go pick it up locally. And it's only about maybe like 20-25 minutes away from me, so that's not bad at all. But that's where I picked up this Cabbage Patch. I'm gonna go down to the office and take you with me to show you. But at the auction, I paid up a little bit. I paid $40 for it, and it sold for $120 plus shipping. Sorry, the lighting, I might have to get like a light to add to my GoPro if I'm gonna do this style of video. Because over here I have windows, a little natural light, so you can, it lights me up pretty good. But if I'm turned away, it's not so good. All right, let's go down to the office and get that Cabbage Patch. Okay, so I'm in my office, which you'll kind of recognize this area if you've watched some of my videos. This is kind of the wall that's behind me during most of my unboxing videos. And so this Cabbage Patch right here, which I don't know if it's going to give you much of a good view through that. There we go. There's maybe a little better of a view without a glare. These things are pretty cool. Like I said, the box is a little beat up. But these figures they've never been taken out of the insert. They're still tied into the insert of this box. I did take them out because the box itself was not sealed. So I did take them out to take pictures. But it's a pretty cool item. Let's go ahead and take this up. So yeah, I was hoping to get this for a little bit cheaper. But especially since it was in such good condition other than the box. Thankfully the other people that were bidding on it didn't bid it up anymore, because I don't know if I would have gone much higher. But yeah, again, that sold for $120 plus shipping. It's gonna take a big box, but it'll go out UPS, because USPS, which for some reason I'd accidentally set it for USPS, and the person contacted me. And when I noticed that, I let them know that I would, if they didn't have any problems with it going UPS, that I would send it that way and give them a partial refund of the shipping. Well, the difference of the shipping. So not bad at all. All right, let's pull one more item. All right, so Transformers, Heroes, Roar, and Rescue Bots. So I got this at a Goodwill in a bag of smalls. So this equal out to be like less than 50 cents for this one item. So it's in C5. So C5. That's not 5. That's 3. I know my numbers. All right, C5. All right, is that C5? Yeah, C5. Oh, here it is. So it's this little dude, this little Transformer dude. Oh. Whoops. Thankfully these things are pretty durable, even though they're plastic. It's all good. All right, so that I forget if I mentioned, sold for $11.99 plus shipping. All right, so that's half the order so far. So story time. So I'm a fairly new reseller. I started, it's not quite a year ago. Today it's November 22nd, I believe. and I started reselling back about this time in January. So what was that, about 10 months ago that I started, and I've been having a blast with it. So obviously there's been growing pains, and even people that have been doing this for 20, 25 years, are always learning things, because things are always changing. There's always something to learn. So I sell in a variety of categories, and like I said, it's impossible to know everything in every category, even in ones that you're familiar with. So one category that I dabble in is shoes. And in a recent thrift store find, actually, let me pause the video real quick. I need to grab these so I can show you in person. Okay, so these shoes right here, I found at a local thrift store, and they kind of caught my attention because they look a lot different than, they look really high quality, and they just look different than most shoes that you see, at least that I'm familiar with. And I wasn't familiar with, I guess the brand is GGDB, which stands for Golden Goose, I forget, I'll put it up on the screen. And so they just look really cool, really clean. I mean, they have like no wear on them. The soles were a little dirty, and I cleaned them up as good as I could for the time that I wanted to take with them. But I bought these for $15, and I bought them because once I looked them up when I saw them in the thrift store, and I saw that they could sell for a couple $100s. There was a recent sold that sold for a couple $100. They're not many of them, so they're fairly rare, and so I grabbed them. I listed them, and I think it was maybe 1 or 2 days at the most later, someone bought them full price. And obviously, if you don't know, a lot of shoes, even lower value shoes, get sent to an authenticator these days on eBay before they go to the buyer. So I packaged them up, it went to the authenticator, and I got an email from eBay saying that these were found to be counterfeit, and they were being shipped back to me, buyer being refunded, and I was getting a counterfeit strike, which is not my first, and that's kind of what we're talking about a little bit today. So I obviously understand the importance of not selling counterfeit items, and I'm not purposely trying to sell anything that's counterfeit. I mean, I'm not super familiar with these. Like I said, they were brand new to me, but the research that I did, they looked authentic to me. And maybe there's signs that I could have found out more if I did a little bit more research. But everything that I was seeing on them, from what I found, they looked real. They seemed to be an authentic pair. But obviously, the people at the authentication are going to be trained. I mean, they're trained in these different shoes and know how to find whether or not they are real or counterfeit. So I don't question the authenticators, but what I do question, and what I'm frustrated at, is the whole how eBay expects us to be experts in everything that we sell. It just seems ridiculous to me. I mean, we're just resellers. We're not the manufacturers of the item. So I'm perfectly fine with if they find that something is not authentic, that, in this case, it gets sent back to us, buyer refunded. If it gets found out before it gets sold, the listing gets taken down. But the problem that I have is the punishments that they hand out for this. But first, let me read you the wording of part of the counterfeit policy. There's a lot of words to it. There's a lot of sections to it, and I'll put a link to the counterfeit policy on eBay if you care to read it. If you haven't, you may want to familiarize yourself with it. But here's an excerpt that I took from it. That is the key statement that I want to talk about today, and that is, if you are not certain that your item is authentic, or if an authenticator has been unable to confirm its authenticity, it may not be listed. So mainly the beginning of that is the main focus, and that is, if you're not certain that your item is authentic, you can't list it. Well, I was, at least from what I, at least from what I could find out, I believed it to be authentic. So, that's why I listed it. If I felt that it was fake, I'm not going to list it. I mean, there may be some people that sell counterfeit things purposely. That's not me. I try to be an honest person as best as I can, and that's what I want to do. So they eBay basically requires us now to be experts in everything that we sell. So I'm not sure exactly how we can do that. Obviously, there are certain items that are counterfeited more often than others, and maybe that's where we can focus. But I'm not sure about that. So because this wasn't my first offense, I'm not going to go into detail, but there was, way back, I think maybe in the spring or early summer, was my first one where I had, from a liquidator, I had received some AirPods, and I had them listed. They sold, the buyer never paid. I canceled the order after 4 days, relisted, and the very next morning, I had a message from eBay that the listing was taken down for a suspected counterfeit. I was not able to relist it, and I got my first strike. Whatever, I just ignored that. I wasn't going to fight it. And then a couple months ago, I think back in September, there was another pair of AirPods, and I've sold some AirPods because I get them fairly regularly back when I was getting a lot of liquidation. And got another pair of, I think these ones were AirPod Pros, and I listed them, and I forget the exact situation, but they ended up getting taken down, and another for suspected counterfeit. And so I tried to talk to eBay. I'm like, look, these things, from what I can tell, are authentic. I mean, they have all the signs of being an authentic, genuine Apple product. What do you want me to do? And so there was nothing. There's we can't do anything about it. You can go to Apple and have them authenticate it. If they authenticate it and give you proof, we'll let you relist it. I'm like, Apple isn't going to talk to an individual like me to authenticate an individual item of theirs. So again, I don't have a huge deal about having the items taken down, but when that second offense happened, I had a 3-day suspension. So it was just frustrating. And so now when this shoe one happened, I thought I was going to have a 7-day suspension because it was the third offense. But I'm guessing that first one may have dropped off or was old enough where it didn't count against the punishment or penalty. I don't know. But I had another 3-day suspension, which basically means that eBay will not supposedly eBay won't put your listings in any search results. When people are searching for items, your listings won't show up. I kind of think that system may be broken, because if I went into my eBay store anonymously and I just kept refreshing, some of my items would sometimes come up, sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes it was only a small portion, sometimes it was half. It was all over the place. I have a feeling like whatever system they have that tries to restrict that is not perfect. But either way, I still got a decent amount of sales during those 3 days, but it's frustrating, and two, now what? Do I quit selling these things? Do I quit selling altogether? That's not going to happen. So now, how much do I need to worry about, having more counterfeit strikes happen against me? And if they continue to happen, how soon would eBay, suspend me indefinitely? So anyway, that's just what I had to talk about. I probably talked about it a little bit too long. I may have to cut that down a little bit to to fit it into this video. But thank you for allowing me to rant a little bit and vent on that. Just frustrated. So let's go ahead and pull the rest of these orders. All right, so the next item is actually in the garage. So you'll quickly learn I have inventory kind of all over this house. It is organized and cataloged, other than that one item that we just talked about. But this is a Department 56 Snow Village water tower. So I picked this up at a local thrift store for $4, and I sold it for $16.99. Let's go get that. Now you have to excuse the mess in this garage. So this is part of the reason, only one of the many reasons that I've not been making videos recently, and that's that the last couple weeks I've been doing some purchasing of storage units. So I did fill this garage with that we've been processing through. All right, so let me go ahead and, yep, I think it's in this box. So yeah, I think, was that it? No, there's something else there. So let me put this back up there. I think the rest is the water tower. Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this up. So like I was saying, I've been doing a lot of storage units, so different auctions, and just truthfully just been spending a lot of time listing and getting those things situated. So the YouTube videos have kind of fallen behind because of that, and I've just kind of been finding it hard to get the time to make those videos like this. All right, so I think 2 more orders. All right, man, you're gonna see about every section of of my house, at least where I have inventory. Because the next one is NCAA Football 2005 for the PS2, and it's in SB Cubby 8. So let's go check that out. All right, SB Cubby 8, looking for NCAA football right there. All right. Okay, and this game I picked up at a yard sale for $1. I think it was kind of a bundle deal. I got a bunch of PS2 games so it equal out to be about $1 a game. So this one isn't great, as many of you know. Sports games don't tend to sell well, but this one did sell for $2.99 plus shipping, so I'll make a buck or two on that. All right, and then the last thing is in this room. It is one of these SD cards I picked up. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. I picked up at an online liquidator that I've worked with before. They had a posting, I don't know, a little over a month ago, I think, for like a whole case of SD cards. A lot of them were returned, some of them shelf pulls, whatnot. But a whole case, and I think I put in an offer on it to try to get a little bit cheaper than full price. And so I picked it up for $500, and I think they said there was over 200 and I forget how many cards. Now since a lot of them are opened, I did have to test them and make sure that they were all working and formatted and so forth. So I did find a good amount of them were faulty in some way. So I'm glad I did test them. So I think I had 180 some that were sellable, and so they've been selling really well. And that's what this one is, this last order. It's a Samsung Evo Select Micro 512 gigabyte. Samsung Evo. Alright, so Samsung Evo Select 512 12. All right, so here we go. So you can see, like, this one, you know, it was cut open. It's been taped shut, but I did pull this out and tested it. All right, well, that's the last item to pull for now. All right, so those were the orders that I got in the last day or so. Well, minus these were not part of the order. Why is there not 8? Man, my brain is so all over the place. So when I was showing you the preview of what had sold on the table, and I was starting to say that those shoes weren't part of it, because obviously I told you the story. I was counting, and I said, there's only 7 items on this table. There should be 8. All right, so there was an order that I forgot to pull, but it was just another SD card. So let's go ahead and pull that. There's a SanDisk Ultra 400 gigabyte card. Oops, only one. Put that back in there. All right, yep, only one. So I think that's supposed to go. I think that's supposed to go there. All right. Okay, now we have all 8 orders. So that's what that sold yesterday and overnight, and a good mix of items, some nice profit there, and it's time for me to get them boxed up and shipped out to their buyers. All right, well, I appreciate you letting me vent a little bit about the eBay issues that I've had. And if you have any stories of your own, whether it be counterfeit related or just any of eBay's policies that you've had run-ins with, tell me those stories down in the comments. I'd love to read them. So go ahead and do that for me. And all right, well, thank you for joining me today and helping me pull those sales. Until next time, keep on flipping.